Hey friends, today we're going to look at my ultimate note-taking experience utilising two apps. The two apps we're going to be looking at are Notability and GoodNotes. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Rory. I'm a clinical nurse specialist and educator living and working here in Newcastle, Australia. On this channel, we discover and explore the strategies and tools for you to become the best version of yourself. In today's video, we're going to be exploring GoodNotes and Notability as the ultimate note-taking experience for me. Let's jump in. First of all, if you like videos on technology and software, hit subscribe and you'll hear more from me in the future on these topics. So last year, I posted a video about my favorite bit of technology being my MacBook Pro. My iPad is only just behind that. If you want to watch that video on my MacBook Pro, you can see that up here or up here. Today, on the note-taking apps that we're talking about, I utilise my iPad. I've got my 12.9 iPad Pro here, and that's what I use to note-take when I'm out and about, and I love utilising the Apple Pencil to make it much more like a note-taking experience. When my favourite thing isn't a piece of technology, it is often a piece of software. And today, we're going to look at the two apps called GoodNotes and Notability, specifically on the iPad. So you might be sitting there thinking, what's the difference between these two applications? Why do I use two? Why do I need two? And why do I even use these apps when you've got things like Apple Notes? These are all valid questions, and they're things that I hope to answer shortly as we go through this video. So just a bit of history. For years I've actually used GoodNotes, and I do love that application. I used it at school, I used it at uni, I use it now in my businesses, I use it literally all the time, and I have done for years, and I've seen a lot of its progression, and I do love the guys who make GoodNotes, and I think it's just an overall great application. However, just like all applications, there's things that bother us within them, and there's things that we absolutely love. And there is a couple of things that I absolutely love about GoodNotes, but there's also a few things that I think that Notability just do just a tiny bit better. So a quick thing to note about these is that they both, and all of them, including Apple Notes, they all take notes. Alright, you can use the Apple Pencil, you can write it in text, you can do an abundance of things within these note-taking applications. Do you need extra applications? No, you don't. You can literally just use Apple Notes if you want. However, as I said, I've used GoodNotes for years, and I do love it, and more recently I've started using Notability because it has a cool feature that I just love. So without further ado, let's jump in and have a look at what is so cool about each of these apps and why I think they both make up the ultimate note-taking experience. Okay guys, so when we jump over to GoodNotes, you can see here when you open GoodNotes up, it's got quite a complex file system. You can put things into folders, you can put things into books. I really do like the virtual books. You can make them look like an actual notebook that you take around with you in a bag. However, it's on an app, and this is where I first started back when I was at school and in university using this sort of way of thinking about note-taking digitally. The overall best thing I love about GoodNotes is when you're writing in it, you can actually activate this feature here, which is where you can write across the page, and as you're going across the page, writing across your notebook, you can be taken straight to the next line at appropriate times, and your writing is just a seemingly fluid experience, and this is something that I really do love about GoodNotes. The next thing I love about GoodNotes, up here as you can see, there is so much ability to modify the pen that you're using and everything about your pen and the style of it. What it lacks here though is you can't save things as favourites and things like that, so it is hard to get back to what you previously did love or swap between several things that you love because there is no way to save your favourites. Another thing that I really do love about GoodNotes is all the extra features within it in terms of the shapes and all the other little things that you can utilise to make your digital notes look really, really nice. With all of this, GoodNotes comes at a one-off cost, and it's under $10 here in Australia. It's about $8, and I think this is just really good value for money. I purchased it years and years ago, and I've never needed to do anything ever since. I've got all the updates, and as I said, it's just a great application. When we jump on the other side of the fence though, Notability is an application that I did purchase years and years and years ago. It's one of those things that I didn't like it years ago, so I continued to use GoodNotes. However, there was probably a few features available then that I neglected to actually explore, and things that would have actually been game changers for certain things that I do. And what I've noticed online is there is a lot of people that love GoodNotes and a lot of people that love Notability, and they definitely have their individual reasons for this. So straight away when you open up Notability here, you can see that it's quite minimalism It's quite simple. I love that minimalism feel. It's quite simple to work around. If you compare that to GoodNotes, it can be quite busy, it can be quite hard, and for me, someone who's got ADHD, I find it quite difficult for my brain to want to actually utilize the GoodNotes filing system. I find it very hard to use, where Notability is so simple. It's got your dividers, it's got your subjects, it's got your notes within there, it's got your unfiled notes, it's got your recent notes, and it just seems to be a lot easier to manage your notes in terms of file storage. It also has the colored dots, which colors really resonate with me, so that's another thing that I do love about Notability. When utilizing Notability to write your notes, I love the fact that you've got all these different pre-installed colors of different types. I love it that you can actually set up favorites for your colors and things, so you've got an abundance of colors just wherever you want and access them whenever you need. And this is a bit different to the way that you go about this on GoodNotes. I also found that unless you know the color codes on GoodNotes, or another way of doing it, you might be able to download, your color palette and stuff. It is a bit different to Notability, and I just find Notability does this just a tiny bit better. My overall favourite feature of GoodNotes is your ability to record as you're taking a note. And I think this is a game changer for students, people at school, people at university, people doing courses. They're able to record what is going on as they're taking notes, and the double great feature of this is that when you play back your audio, you can actually hear the audio as well as see the audio as you're writing, as if you're in the class. So you can see exactly what you were writing when you were hearing it, and that can be a very powerful feature when you're doing a course and learning. So on both sides of the fence, there's just 3 or 4 things that I love about each app. As you guys know, I've used GoodNotes for years and years and years. There is so many great things about GoodNotes. I do think GoodNotes could be just the most ultimate note-taking application if it incorporated a few features that Notability had, like the colors and things in between there, and also the ability to audio record. The main reason that I went to Notability is because within a certain aspect of my life that I'm doing at the moment in nursing education, I find it really helpful to be able to record notes, and I think it's a great simple way to store them as I'm doing it. And if I was sort of doing some education or a course, I'd really want to be utilizing the features that I like within GoodNotes, in the virtual book and other things like that. The other thing that I really don't like about Notability is the fact that I feel that you always have to increase your screen size to write neat and go across your page, and you're constantly moving your page around, where that feature I mentioned earlier in GoodNotes, I find that just to be so great to follow your writing across the page and to start a new line, and I just find it really easy to use that feature and facilitate your writing and make it a more natural note-taking experience. If you asked me what my overall favourite note-taking application was on the iPad, I would still answer GoodNotes, and that is for several reasons. However, more recently I've actually used Notability more because I've had the need to use the audio recording feature, and I've also been quite stimulated around the colours and the different experience and just the refreshment of utilising it. However, I can already see that I'll be going back to GoodNotes for certain things, and as I said, if I was doing things more formally, courses, other things like that, I would definitely choose the GoodNotes option. The other thing that I find very restrictive with Notability is that it has a subscription model. The cost is approximately double of GoodNotes, and although I love paying software developers and all the companies for the great apps that they create so we can continue to utilize them and they can continue to get better, Notability has different subscriptions based on the features that you use, and I just hate clicking on buttons within applications and being boom, you have to grab another higher subscription to be able to use this feature and stuff like that. So something that I loved about GoodNotes is I purchased it when I was at school, I've got all the updates, and I've never really had to do anything to enjoy the product. I've just had to get past the little features that I find a little frustrating or things that are a bit busy for my mind, but it is such a great application. So that's it. That's the quick 3 to 4 things that I love about Notability and GoodNotes. Alright guys, thanks heaps for stopping by, looking at my ultimate note-taking experience on the iPad utilising GoodNotes and Notability. Please leave a comment. Let me know what application you love using, if you use one of these. If you love seeing software videos like this or videos about technology, please hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.